The increasing rate of visa scams in our society today is getting alarming. And why it's alarming is that there are a lot of information out there. So when people start reporting about how they were duped or how they were scammed, it gets one thinking. Yeah, I mean, all the information out there. Like throughout last week, okay, this week that just ended, like the few social media sites I visit, I see a lot of people complaining about this particular issue, how they were scammed of their hard-earned money. You see someone complaining about how he sent 2M to someone, 3M to someone, 4M to someone to do papers for them, and then it turned out that it was just a ploy and a scam, So I mean, it really got me thinking, like, why is this stuff increasing instead of reducing? Because I was thinking, yeah, the more legit information out there, the easier it is for people to really, navigate this kind of stuff. At least you can be able to identify what's what, know what's right, so you don't fall prey to stuffs like this. So I gave it a little thought, and then, well, I decided to make a video about it. So sit back and enjoy. So guys, forgive me for being brutally honest in this video, but here, I'm not coming to start blaming scammers 100%. Of course, we all know that whatever it is they are doing is a crime, and when they get caught, they are going to face the consequences. It's a crime to do this to people. But I'm also here to allocate part of the blame to those people who are being scammed. Yes, why will you like make yourself so vulnerable when you want to do stuff like this? Of course, we know that people who do this kind of maybe people who have plans to travel, most times they don't want to share maybe with people because of whatever reason. That's understandable. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't arm yourself with information. That is why you see all these videos that we do, or maybe I'm not even talking about my own videos. Like, go online. People talk about their experiences. People talk about what they have done in the past. The least you can do is to go read up these stuffs. Like, learn from what other people, the mistakes they made. Like, learn from what happened to them. Why must you? And the way the thing is even going these days, you see someone will just tell you that he met, like, if the person actually tries to open up to you, he will tell you this kind of story, because I've had this like on multiple occasions. Someone will say, yeah, that I met this guy. So let's say that the guy, Mr. A, is the one who he met. So Mr. A told me that he does papers for people to travel. In the first instance, what the hell is papers? Like, what is papers? Is it newspaper? What papers? And then let's just continue. The person says, yeah. So Mr. A told me that he was the one who did papers for so and so person who is in Germany, so and so person who is in France, and then he asked me to bring 2 points, maybe let's say 3M, for him to do the papers for me. That I don't need to do anything else. Just get the 3M to him, and he will do the papers. And then you start hustling to get the 3M. Just start hustling. You start saving money, 100K, 500K, 1M, 2M. And then when it's complete, you don't even tell anyone. You just call Mr. A. Oh, hello, Mr. A. I have the 3M. Mr. A says, transfer to me. You transfer to him. And then you start waiting for him to do the papers for you, because it's not even visa, they say papers. Now, why don't you take a step back and think? Everyone who has traveled abroad, they went through a series of processes. Now, I'm not saying this as a good thing that the processes took long, like maybe let's say the process can take 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It's not a good thing. I know it's not a good thing, but this is reality. We have to face the fact that it takes time to plan these stuffs. It's not just something that you will save up a little money and then you send it to someone to do papers for you. What do you mean by papers? See, in today's world now, there are three major ways to migrate. And the first one is through study visa part. The second one is through work visa part. And the third one is through dependent visa part. Of course, when you know that a lot of people who travel are actually of marriageable age, maybe they have their kids and their families, so people also come. There are other types of maybe ways to travel, like the tourist visa, the health and stuff. But all those ones, they are short stays, so most times you don't actually migrate with those kinds of visas. So the three major ones I mentioned are you don't even want to know what kind of visa is this person getting me. You just know that he's doing papers for you. Like, why don't you ask what kind of papers is it? Is he a study visa he's trying to do for me? Then if it's a study visa, am I even qualified enough to get whatever it is he wants to get me? So you just feel that once you give someone that amount of money, the person will work out magic, and then boom, you travel and do what? Like, it's not just all about even the traveling. But let's not even go into that. Let's go into the fact that the whole thing, the whole idea of being scammed, it's a large percentage of the fault. I mean, I allocate the fault to the person who is scammed. Yes, I do that. I'm not saying the scammer is doing the right thing, but I actually allocate a large percentage of the blame to the person who is scammed. Because why will you give someone that kind of money and then you don't even get information of what exactly the person is trying to do? You don't even want to know what it is that you are going to do. You just feel that, oh, he's going to do papers for you. And that term is even very annoying. Papers. I don't even know what they always mean by papers. Like, you can't go into any country without the visa. So what are you talking about? What is papers? What kind of visa is this person doing for you? You have to know. You have to know. So this increasing rate of scams, I think that it can actually be reduced if people learn um, some few tricks, tips. Let me put it that way. The first one is try to arm yourself with information. Like, it's actually very, very difficult for someone to dribble you on a subject matter that you are maybe very, very aware of. It's just like, take this scenario now. People employ teachers to teach in schools. The teachers are more experienced than the students, of course. That's why they bring the teachers to teach the students. So you don't need to be 100% agent guru for you to know what's going on. There are a lot of things online. You just go online, search these things by yourself, know what is actually going on, know what is the like. These are things that will point you to the right direction, so that whenever someone is trying to scam you, you will know that this is not what I read. So you have to arm yourself with that information. That is actually the key thing you have to do to avoid being scammed. And it's not like the information is not out there. It's just, I don't even know. Like, go on YouTube, there is information there. Go on Facebook, there's information there. Go on LinkedIn, go on Nairaland. There's a lot of, and I love Nairaland because it's kind of an interactive forum where people share their experiences, and you can also learn a lot there. These things, you don't just do them blindly because Mr. A has promised you that he's going to get you papers, and then you just go and give him your hard-earned money, and then at the end of the day, you start posting anonymous posts on the Facebook and all the other platforms, telling people to hide your identity, that you have been duped and you have been scammed. I mean, it's. I blame the scammer, but I also blame you for being foolish enough to. Sorry, I also blame you for falling prey to these scams. Yeah. The second tip I want to talk about is that you, as an individual, you must learn how to be less desperate and less gullible. You know, my dad told me something one time. I mean, there was a time I was scammed back in, I don't even know, maybe 2010 or so. I had one small phone, someone collected it from me, just short story stuff. But what my dad told me then was that scammers actually prey on two major things, two major individual weaknesses. And these individual weaknesses are desperation and greed. These weaknesses, those are what scammers majorly prey on. I know that there are also other things that make them maybe to be successful. I mean, scammers, especially when the person is not really knowledgeable on the fact, on maybe the subject they are trying to, you know, dribble the person on. But desperation and greed, you can't take away the fact that these are very, very key issues that need to be addressed. You are in your home country, wherever it is you are, then you're having so much, like, you don't even view anything success, and you don't even view anything as success anymore aside traveling abroad. That's the only thing you view as success. Like, you don't even want to care about maybe trying to make it in wherever it is you are just like abroad, abroad, abroad. You are just so desperate to go abroad. And see, I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to pursue your dreams, so, but let me just tell you the downside to that. The downside to that is that when you are desperate to do this kind of thing, you actually open yourself to scams. I mean, human beings, we are just so complex. You open yourself to scams. Like, someone can just tell you that, oh, see what I did, see what I did. Before you know, you start pondering on that, you start thinking about that. Before you know, you swing into action. You won't even tell anybody. That's even a bad thing. You may not even tell anyone. You just want it to be that, oh, People open Facebook one morning and then they see that you are abroad. See, the funny thing is that it may not actually happen like that. People may actually open Facebook the next morning and they discover that you have been scammed. I know it's not a funny thing, but I'm just trying to show you guys that being desperate and gullible, it doesn't get you anywhere. It doesn't. Anything you want in life, understand that there is always a path, there is always a series of processes to get to that stuff. Nothing happens overnight. Nothing happens overnight. You may actually see something as if it happened overnight, but it didn't. Every success you see, everybody has today. The person went through series of processes and steps which he or she may not even want to tell you about. I mean, of course, this is common knowledge. We all know these stuffs. But being desperate makes you to start thinking of maybe successful people as maybe doing things overnight. You just be like, oh, this person, I just opened Facebook one morning and then I saw that he's abroad. You just be like, ah, if he can do it, I can do it. You just think that's what happened. That's not what happened. Maybe the person has been applying for several years and he has been rejected, like he has been doing this thing for a lot of time, and the person keeps being rejected, he won't come online and be saying, "Oh, I was rejected." Oh, I was. He won't be doing all those ones. But he will just the time that he gets accepted, he will just come and show that one. That's the one you will see, and that's the one you will feel that, oh, the person just did it maybe once and then he got it. It's not like that. The point I'm trying to make is that try to be less desperate and less gullible, because once you can be able to suppress these emotions in yourself, like it's easier for you to think clearly. If someone pitches any idea to you, or if someone starts to preach to you about something, you will see that you have a clear mind to think about it. You won't be biased. You won't just be like, oh, because you are so desperate, you don't even want to think clearly. You just go and do the thing, and before you know it, you are crying on social media. Yeah. So to extend this particular point, I also want to talk about um shortcuts. People who always believe in shortcuts. You just think shortcut is the only way. Those are also people who fall prey to this kind of stuff. You may know the process, you may know maybe what you have to do, but because you just want to, follow one kind of shortcut like that, that's another problem. So you just have to be very careful with this shortcut of a thing, because one day that shortcut will actually cut you short. That is what happens, and then before you know, you are scammed. So forget about shortcuts. Always try to. I think what most people, successful people, do is that when they see something that they want to achieve, they try to look at the steps involved. They try to look at the processes, the things they have to do to achieve that, and they try to um pay the price of those things as fast as possible. Like that's what they do. They don't try to shortcut, maybe use one kind of fast route. They try to know the steps and then they work hard to make sure that they they, they follow all the rules. It's just that they are more committed. They are very very hardworking and they follow all the rules and then they get there. So it's not, you can't just wake up one morning and then you just want to do one kind of shortcut shady things. That's what leads to maybe the high scam rate we are having. Like I'm just trying to say that don't always depend on shortcuts. It don't really get you anywhere. It doesn't. Another tip I want to raise is, please try to confide in people and ask questions. See, no man is an island. Nobody knows it all. Hmm? So this idea of like you just want to do everything by yourself, I understand it's very very important to keep things to yourself, but of course you have to trust someone. There is someone you I don't like saying this kind of stuff because I've read stories where people betrayed this trust and then they ended up regretting why they trusted someone. But still, I can't. I just know that it's very very important to share ideas with someone. You know, it could be someone, maybe your dad or your mom or your brother or your sister, like someone you deeply trust, someone you know that you share that bond with. Like it may not necessarily be a friend. You can have a friend who you trust deeply. But the important thing is that try to talk to people about some of these things, because when someone gives you his or her own unbiased opinion or perspective, if you have an open mind, you start seeing reasons why you should do that or why you should not do that. See, most things that happen to us, we always have that intuition of, man, this is the wrong thing. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But because we want to silence that voice, we just want to do whatever it is we are, because we are driven by maybe whatever desire. It can be lust, it can be desperation, it can be whatever, greed. Then you silence that still small voice, and then you go ahead and do whatever it is you do, and then you end up getting yourself maybe scammed or stuff. So it's important to actually have people's ideas, like know what people think about whatever it is you want to do. It's very, very important, so that you can, when you share that idea with the person can give you his own honest opinion, and then you can know the best thing to do. These things, I'm just trying to, I just hope that we can get to a point where these scams starts reducing. Like, you no longer, maybe you just hear about them once or twice, not every time people are talking about being scammed, and then you are seeing all the information out there. Like, see, people who migrated through work visa, a lot of them, YouTubers, even in this Australia, like, there's this Life with Choma, she's a good friend of mine. There's this Street Worm, she's a friend of mine too. Like, these people, they migrated with work visa, they talk about their experiences. So nothing stops you from going to their channels, like, listen to what they have to say, try to pick up one or two things, so that you have these things in your own mind. It just serves like a validatory tool in case you meet someone tomorrow who's trying to pitch an idea to you. If the idea he's trying to pitch to you doesn't match with what you already know, or what you already learned from people who went to where you want to go to, then you know that there is something wrong. You don't just be in such a hurry to go and spend money, give someone money just to travel. No, that's desperation, and you have to kill that. That's actually what you need to do. You have to kill that desperation, because if you don't, you will end up hurting yourself in the near future. It just end up hurting yourself. So I just hope that someone learns something from this video, and try to guard yourself. The days are rough now, things are very, very difficult and stuff. So this kind of stuff, I mean, if someone tells you that he loses 3M now, you know what it means. It's not easy. So just try your best to, and also people who are scamming. Anyway, let me, I don't let, I'll talk to you next time. Anyways, thank you so much for watching my videos. Please like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next week. All right, Ikeman out.